Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Third Unitarian Church. We're so glad you could be with us here this morning to celebrate life, to grieve our sufferings, and to connect with one another. We hope you find Third Unitarian Church to be a place that enriches your spirit and motivates you to take action to bless the world. We welcome all people in this church, and we welcome your whole person. If you're visiting us today, we'd like to pay you a special welcome and invite you to join us downstairs after the service for coffee hour. The congressional survey that was distributed by the search committee is due next Sunday, September 20th. So if you have not done so already, please complete your survey online. There are also paper copies available in the concourse on the information table. The survey is a top priority for our congressional packet as we search for a settled minister, so please try to fill out your survey and return it. Today, Irene Mostek is hosting a free book fair at her former residence in Lombard from 1 to 5 p.m. There are hundreds of books from every genre. You can see Irene at coffee hour for more details. We have two special events on the next two Sundays. Next Sunday, September 20th, the Garden and Membership Committee will be hosting a potluck. The following Sunday, September 27th, is our Scholarship Sunday pancake breakfast / brunch. So during coffee hour today, you'll have the opportunity to assist with setup or cleanup, or by providing food. The TUC Cleanup Day has been rescheduled to October 10th. More details to come. And the Fiesta Luncheon has been postponed until the spring. Our forum next Sunday at 10 a.m. will feature Deb Donovan leading part 3 of the Summer Book Club, Ghetto-Cide, A True Story of Murder in America. Our celebration of life at 11 a.m. will be Inviting the Self, Personal Practice. How are we inviting to our own soul? Minister Jennifer Nordstrom and Worship Associate Mandy McLean will explore welcoming your authentic self as spiritual practice. It's also going to be the third Sunday of the month, which means it's Joys and Concerns ceremony, so feel free to submit joys or concerns anytime over the next week. Once again, welcome to Third Unitarian Church.
We light this chalice, a symbol of hope, faith, freedom, and love, and connect with Unitarian Universalists in the past, present, and future. Our opening words today are an excerpt from Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. They both listened silently to the water, which to them was not just water, but the voice of life, the voice of being, the voice of perpetual becoming. Have you also learned the secret from the river? That there is no such thing as time? That the river is everywhere, at the same time, at the source and at the mouth, at the waterfall and at the ferry, at the current and in the ocean, and in the mountains everywhere, and that present only exists for it, not the shadow of the past, nor the shadow of the future. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing the opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to our Time for All Ages. Normally, this is where we all come up on the stage and gather around our special blanket that you all help make together. And I usually read a story with Minister Nordstrom's help, but today we have a special guest because our theme for the month is invitation. So for all of September, we're going to be inviting people. Inviting you and inviting yourselves and inviting others. So I took that opportunity to invite a very special friend of Leah Shapiro's, and that is Kitty Hall, who is here with us for the special time called Rosh Hashanah. And if you don't know what Rosh Hashanah is, it's a special Jewish culture to celebrate the New Year. And it starts with a really loud horn. So get ready for this loud part that Kitty's gonna do, and it's supposed to be like, whoa, what's that? And that feeling is, oh, the New Year's coming. It's like, oh, it shocks you into thinking about what happened over the last year. So with that, to get to our shofar, and before Kitty can read the story, I will pass the microphone to Kitty.
Thank you very much. Tonight at sundown begins the holiday of Rosh Hashanah. Rosh means head, and Shana means year. So Rosh Hashanah means the head of the year, the start of a new year. And I know that the new year starts January 1st, but really school is starting now, summer is ending, the leaves are turning now. This is a good time to have a new year. And what people do at Rosh Hashanah is that they start thinking about the last year, all the beautiful good things that happened, and all the times when we could have done a little better, but we messed up. And so on Rosh Hashanah, we begin 10 days, and during that 10 days, we're supposed to go to anybody who we have wronged during that year and ask them for forgiveness. And if somebody comes to us and says, gee, I'm really sorry that I stepped on your toy truck and wrecked it, we're supposed to say, I forgive you, so that we can all start fresh, because it's a new year. And then, on Yom Kippur, which is the 10th day, that's Yom means day, and Kippur means atonement. That's the day where we all come together and we all admit everything right out in front of everybody. Now, there's no way that one person can do every single bad thing. I mean, that's just, even if you really try, you can't do it. And that's a good thing. But what we say is, some are guilty, but all are responsible. We're all responsible for trying to make a world where people don't want to mess up, where people don't want to commit sins, where people don't want to hurt other people. And it's our job in the new year to try and do a little better. We ask God to forgive us, but it says in our prayer book, if you did anything against God, God can forgive you. But if you did something to another person, the only way you're going to get forgiveness is if you and that other person have made peace. And that's why we have those 10 days in between, for kind of cleaning up our messes if we haven't already done it. And then coming together and taking hands and saying, okay, we're starting fresh. Now, at the beginning of the year, have you ever been to a New Year's Eve party? And at midnight, everybody takes a big horn out and they blow it. You know, they throw confetti in the air and they say, Happy New Year. Exactly, just like that. Well, we don't have confetti, but we do have a special horn. This is it. It's called a shofar. It's the horn of a ram. This is a mountain ram. And it's been, thank you, and it's been hollowed out and cleaned and polished. And you blow in it. And what it does is it says, we have to listen. It's time to come to attention. Maybe we were just kind of going along, but now is Rosh Hashanah, and now is the time where we have to just get together and be together and start over. So here's how it sounds. Here's how that's not how it sounded this morning. If you have that in the right spot, there's no mouthpiece on it like for a trumpet. And the person who blows the shofar is called the Baal Tekiah, which means the master of Tekiah, which is the sound the shofar makes. Well, obviously, I am not Baal Tekiah. We have somebody who has been practicing a long, long time, and when he blows the shofar, it's a long, long note that lasts a long time. I'm going to try one more time, see if I can do something sort of like this.
Yeah.
It wakes everybody up, and it takes a lot of practice, which obviously I have not done. But what I'd like to do now is I would like to put this away for a bit and read you a story called The Hardest Word. A long time ago, the world had many large and fabulous creatures. One of those creatures was a gigantic yellow bird with dark red wings and a purple forehead. He was called the Ziz. The Ziz was so huge that when he spread out his wings, he blocked the sun as if there were a dark rain cloud. And every time he flew over a town, all the mothers would call to their children, "Come inside quickly before it rains." This made the big Ziz sad. He loved children and he didn't want to spoil their playtime. So the Ziz started flying around at night when no one would notice that he made the sky dark with his gigantic wings. That worked fine for a while. Then one night, the big Ziz flew too high and he bumped into a star. Sizzle, snap, bang! The star fell out of the sky down to earth and it burned a big hole in the ground. The next morning, when the Ziz saw the big hole, he was worried. What can I do to cover the hole, he asked himself. He thought about it for a while and came up with an idea. He stretched out his huge wings and went back up into the sky. This time, he knocked down a cloud. Plop! The cloud was full of rain, and it filled the big hole with water. Now the big hole was a lovely pond, perfect for swimming. All the children came running to the pond, screaming with delight. It was a hot, sunny day, and they had a wonderful time splashing and playing in the water. The mistake is all fixed, the Ziz smiled. One day, however, the Ziz made a mistake he could not fix. It was the week before Yom Kippur. Remember, that's that 10th day. He was flying along, not watching where he was going, and he flew smack into the tallest pine tree in the world. Boom! The tree fell over and knocked down another tree, and that tree knocked down another tree, and that tree fell on the vegetable garden behind the synagogue. Smash! Squash! Oops! Oh no, the Ziz covered his eyes with his big wings. Not the vegetable garden, it belongs to the children. The Ziz uncovered his eyes to look at the damage. The tomatoes, the corn, the pumpkins, the beans, the gourds, the squash, all the vegetables the children had worked so hard to plant were smashed to bits. I can't knock down a cloud and fix this, the Ziz cried. So the Ziz flew home and sat in his own garden to think. He'd watched the children plant their vegetable garden. Every day they harvested fruits to decorate their sukkah. A sukkah is like a little house that you decorate with fruits and vegetables to celebrate the harvest. What would the children do this year? The Ziz spread out his big wings and flew off to have a chat with God. The Ziz had a special place where he liked to talk to God. It was Mount Sinai. The Ziz was so huge that when he stood on Mount Sinai, his purple feathered head reached right up into the heavens. What have you done this time? God asked as soon as he saw the Ziz. This was not the first time the Ziz had come to Mount Sinai after making a mistake. I knocked over a big tree. It knocked over another tree, and the tree smashed a vegetable garden. The children's garden? God questioned. Yes, the Ziz admitted, hanging his head. That's a problem, God said. I can't knock down a cloud and make it this better. No, you can't, God agreed. What should I do? I want you to do something for me, God said. Anything, the Ziz promised. I want you to search the earth and bring back the hardest word. The hardest word? The Ziz questioned. Yes, God answered, now go. And the Ziz stretched his big wings and went off to search. He flew over mountains, he flew over trees, he flew over valleys, he flew over seas. Flip, flap, I'm the biggest bird, and flap, flap, searching for the hardest word. And after searching the whole day, the Ziz stopped to rest at the edge of a forest. In a little house nearby, he heard a mother and a child arguing. I don't want to go to bed, the little boy said. You need your rest, the mother said. I'm not tired, the little boy cried. Good night, the mother said firmly, closing the door. Sounds like That's it! Ziz flapped his wings. The hardest word, I found it! And Ziz flew as fast as he could to Mount Sinai, and with great excitement he put his bird feet down on the top and poked his purple feathered head up into the heaven. I found it! I found the hardest word! What is it? God asked. It's good night. Every child hates that word. Ziz did a dance right on top of Mount Sinai. He loved being right. Good night is a hard word for children, God agreed. I knew it, the Ziz danced. But there's another word, even harder, God said. There is? Ziz slumped over, disappointed. There is, God declared. Now go and find it. So Ziz spread out his mighty wings and went off to search. He flew over mountains, he flew over trees, he flew over valleys, he flew over seas. Flap, flap, I'm the biggest bird, flap, flap, searching for the hardest word. And after searching all day, he stopped at a big feast on the grounds of a castle. He listened. With so many people talking, he felt sure someone would say the hardest word. I'm hungry, a little girl said to her mother. May I have some spaghetti, please? The mother smiled. Oh, you want spaghetti? That's it, Ziz realized. I've got it now. He spread out his great big wings and flew back to Mount Sinai, and he planted his feet on the mountaintop and poked his purple feathered head into heaven. I know the hardest word, he's saying. What is it? God asked. It's spaghetti. Ziz hopped up and down on one foot. Standing still was hard, especially when he was excited. Spaghetti's a hard word to say, God agreed. Didn't I tell you? Ziz hopped some more. But there's another word, even harder, God said. There is? Ziz slumped over, disappointed. There is, God declared. Now go and find it. The Ziz stretched his big wings and went back out to search. He flew over mountains, he flew over seas, he flew over valleys, he flew over trees. Flap, flap, I'm the biggest bird. Flap, flap, searching for the hardest word. The Ziz searched for 3 more days. He brought back lots of words to Mount Sinai. Words like rock, that's hard, rhinoceros, ridiculous, and Rumpelstiltskin. Each time, God sent Ziz back to find another word. By the evening of Yom Kippur, the Ziz had brought over 100 words to Mount Sinai, and God had not accepted any one of them. The Ziz was discouraged. He had tried and tried. He flew back to Mount Sinai to have one more discussion with God. What word did you bring this time? God asked. No word, the Ziz said. No word? God asked. No, said the Ziz sadly. I've come to say I'm sorry. I can't find the hardest word. You can't? God asked. No, Ziz shook his head. I'm sorry. You're sorry? God asked. Yes. Ziz nodded his big purple head. I'm sorry. Good job, God said. You found the hardest word. I did? Now the Ziz was confused. Yes, God said, the hardest word is sorry. While all the words you brought were hard, sorry is the hardest. I always say I'm sorry on Yom Kippur, the Ziz said. Well, you should say it other times too, God answered. Like when I smashed the garden, Ziz asked. That's right, God said. The Ziz thanked God and pulled his purple feathered head out of heaven. Then he spread out his great big wings and flew back to the children's garden. On the way, he stopped at his own garden and gathered a big basket of fruits and vegetables for the children. It was time to say the hardest word.
So that is our time, story time for all ages. Thank you to our special guest for it. I invite you all back to your seats now as we continue the service. Thank you.
So as the children are returning to their seats, I'd like to invite you all to find yourself in your seats. Find your place in your body. Maybe feel your sit bones pressing into the pews. And your feet on the floor. If you're feeling your feet on the floor or your sit bones in the pews, go ahead and feel that deep, powerful grounding energy of the earth. You want to press your feet into the floor. Feel the strength that's there. And attend to your breath. Feel it moving in and out. And at the very tip top of your head, feel a connection to the sky. Spirit of life and love, Holy One of our being and our becoming, that which is sacred within, among, and beyond us. Mix in with us today as we return to our church services carrying the water of our summer, the water of our hopes and our fears. All the feelings we're carrying with us mix and merge with the welcome of our whole selves. All of our mistakes, our missteps, all the times we have aimed and missed the mark, all our regrets, our failures, our struggles. Today we let those go, that we might be able to welcome one another wholly. The joy and the fear, the struggle, and the hope, all for the long run. Spirit of life, be not just with us this morning, but with all the congregations merging water all around the country this Sunday. May the Spirit of life run through all this water and through the body of Unitarian Universalism, nourishing us all, making us stronger and more resilient. May our collective waters bring us together, that justice might roll down and peace might ever flow through our souls. May it be so.
Our second reading today is Blessings by Jan Richardson. The mark of a true blessing is that it will take you where you did not think to go. Once through this door, there will be more. More doors, more blessings, more who watch and wait for you. But here at this door of beginning, the blessing cannot be said without you. So lay your palm against the frame that those before you touched. Place your feet where others paused, in the entryway. Say the thing that you need most, and the door will open wide. And by this word, the door is blessed. From which door to door, all the rest will come.
Every week we have an opportunity to express our values through sharing our resources. We give not because we're obligated to, but because through our giving this community offers us both meaning and support. We give not because it makes the church possible, but because the church makes all of us together possible. This morning's offering will be gratefully received. May it be joyfully given. Will the ushers please continue? So we heard from our special guest that tonight at sundown, the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah begins. This is an opportunity and a time for coming to terms with one's life, what's happened in the last year, oneself and one's relationship. It's an opportunity to examine oneself and one's actions, who we are now and who we want to become. Where in our lives are we not in right relationship, and what would it take to bring us back into right relationship? Where do we need to forgive? Where do we need to be forgiven? By allowing others to witness our process and to hold us accountable and hold one another accountable, we strengthen our community, as well as our commitment to build the beloved community. So, to begin our church year, and also in commemorating the beginning of the new Jewish year, we're going to engage in a ritual of forgiveness. So what I'd like to ask you all to do is to you're going to rise in either body or spirit and face someone near you. It might be a family member, it might be a partner, it might be a child or a parent, it might be a friend or a neighbor, it might be somebody you're just meeting. But turn to someone who's nearby you. And I'm going to read Rob Eller Isaac's Litany of Forgiveness. And after each sentence that I read, I want you to say to each other, to the person who's actually standing in front of you, I forgive myself. I forgive you. We begin again in love. So that's your line. You don't need to look at anything. There are no pieces of paper involved in this ritual. You're just looking at your partner. So let's practice now. I forgive myself. I forgive you. We begin again in love. All right. So please rise in either body or spirit. Find your partner. Once you've found your partner, go ahead and look at me so I know that you're set. Is anyone still looking? If you're still looking, raise your hand right now. I mean, still looking for a partner. Okay. Very good. Okay, so please join with me in this responsive litany of atonement. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference.
I forgive myself. I forgive you. Begin again in love.
For each time that our fears have made us rigid and inaccessible.
I forgive myself. I forgive you. Begin again in love.
For each time that we have struck out in anger without just cause.
I forgive myself. I forgive you. Begin again in love.
For each time that my greed has blinded me to the needs of others.
I forgive myself. I forgive you. Begin again in love.
For the selfishness which sets us apart and alone.
I forgive myself. I forgive you.
For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit.
I forgive myself. I forgive you.
For losing sight of our unity.
I forgive myself. I forgive you.
For those and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness.
I forgive myself. I forgive you.
Go ahead and thank your partner. And now you may remain standing in either body or spirit and join us in the homily hymn number 318, 321.
As now we join in singing.
In Germany, we see images of residents welcoming migrants with cheers and open arms. We see Syrian migrants grinning and shouting and running towards relief and welcome after a long and harrowing journey. Germans making food, bringing migrants water and snacks and toys for the children. Radical welcome. This is the beginning. But the beginning, with all of its joy and its intention and its invitation and connection and welcome, is the easy part. Radical welcome is about more than being met warmly at the door. It means long-lasting relationship, and true welcome is a welcome of the whole person, the entirety of a people into long-term relationship. So when you move past the immediate, that rush of joy when meeting one another, there comes the matter of difference, deep difference. There's history and culture and mistakes. There's a whole human being and all the messy, complicated humanness of that other being. Even with the best of intentions, real relationships are complex. In Germany, the residents and the migrants need one another. Germany is a country with an aging population. The Syrians bring young families. They also bring a different culture and a different theology. Some Germans are afraid of how their country might change. Because truly welcoming the Syrians means welcoming them as they are and welcoming their whole selves. Truly welcoming in new ways of thinking and being means welcoming in change. The country will not be as it always has been. We change everyone we interact with, and we are also changed by them. As Octavia Butler wrote in the parable of the sower, all that you touch, you change. And all that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. We want to welcome our friends and our family back to church, and we want to welcome the new people in our midst. This is a church where we pride ourselves on radical welcome. And we also know that radical welcome is a practice. We love the fun part, the part where we get to throw up our hands in joy and reach out to one another. We bring gifts from our summer, little pieces of ourselves to share, some water. We bring love and delight, connection, and hope. Today is the beginning, when blessing is begun and we place our hand on the door frame that others have passed through, when we move our feet through the footsteps of those who have come before us. But blessings, true blessings, take you where you did not think to go. Welcome, true welcome, welcomes the entirety of the person. And that, my dear friends, is a mystery. We do not know what the future will hold when we truly and radically welcome one another and the stranger. Our whole selves are sometimes a mystery to us, let alone other people who don't live inside our heads. A whole self interacting with another whole self, that's two infinites interacting with one another. Anything could happen there. Add to that differences in history and in culture and in experience, and you have layers and layers of possibility. In longer and deeper relationship, we discover what radical welcome really means and whether we really mean it. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks counted the number of times love of strangers is called for in the Hebrew scriptures as compared to the love of neighbors. That number is 36-1. Calling ourselves to love the stranger is a bigger ask. It's more difficult, it's scarier, and perhaps it's more telling of who we are. To love the stranger brings surprise. It allows us to know ourselves in a new way and to know the whole better by getting to know this new, more distant part. It also brings possibility. The strange opens us up to new ways of being and doing. The stranger brings special gifts, new gifts that create new possibility for community. The stranger brings a new way that we could not have dreamed without them, because we change everything that we touch, and we are changed by everything that we change. Radical Welcome also understands differences in power. The Anglican Church defines Radical Welcome this way: a commitment to doing the work to eliminate systemic barriers that would limit our embrace of marginalized people. So Radical Welcome there isn't only about fully embracing the stranger, it's also about looking within our hearts, and also within our systems, to see what obstacles might block us from fully embracing the stranger. Which brings us to forgiveness. We must forgive ourselves and each other to fully embrace one another. Others come to us with a past, and we come to others with a past. We have not been perfect. We have not lived up to our highest values. We have failed ourselves and one another. To fail is human and natural. We have to be able to let those failures go in order to begin again, fresh, with new hope and new love. This is what coming to church is about. It's about seeing ourselves, being able to recognize our mistakes, and then pledge again to do better next time. It's about holding one another to our highest resolve to do better next time. It's about letting go of our past mistakes to be fully present with one another and to begin again in love. That together we might be able to experience the voice of being, of perpetual becoming. That together we might learn to be like the river everywhere at the same time, at the source and at the mouth, at the waterfall, at the ferry, at the current, in the ocean, and in the mountains, everywhere. And that the present only exists for it, not the shadow of the past, nor the shadow of the future. We let go of the past that we might rush together in the present, merging our individual selves into the river of community, become one, rumbling over those blocking rocks of indifference and prejudice and exclusion, rushing forwards, our whole selves, held by this community and holding each other to our highest resolve in the miraculous unfolding, becoming beloved community. May it be so, and blessed be. So this morning we're having our annual Water Communion service. Water Communion is a Unitarian Universalist tradition that is usually held on the first Sunday of the new church year. Unitarian Universalist churches all over the country are going to be doing water communion ceremonies. And the idea is that folks have brought water from something over their summer, anywhere from a place that you've been with your family or your community to the cat's water dish to the tap downstairs. So what we have here, in case you forgot your water, we do have a pitcher with church water in it, including a little bit of water from our last year's water communion. And this water, once we merge it, it becomes the community water, and we use it for blessings in the community. So we use it for communal rituals, whether that's a child dedication or anointing the sick. We use this water for it. Sometimes we sprinkle a little bit in our garden so that the garden grows with the water of community. So what we're going to do for water communion is I invite you all to calm down and stand in a line heading towards this sort of coral seashell. You can see it, it's right there. And in the Wiccan tradition, water is the carrier of emotion. So we're talking about our feelings and connecting with one another today. So as you pour your water into the bowl, I'm going to invite you to say a single feeling word. Something about how you're feeling right now at this moment as we're coming back and merging together as a community. So I'm going to give you some examples of feeling words. Happy is a feeling word. Hopeful is a feeling word. Frustrated is a feeling word. Anxious is a feeling word.
Hey, Doug.
Douglas is ready for the water ceremony. It's exciting, I get it. So, we are going to begin our water ceremony now, so get your feeling word held in your mind, bring your water, and you can come on down. Yeah. And I think we have somebody who's ready. So, Douglas, what's your feeling word?
B.
Hopeful.
Happy that church is back.
Hopeful. Grateful.
Excited.
Welcome. Joyful.
Happy and hopeful. Happy that we have gained a relationship with Cuba and hopeful that it lasts, and this is water from Cuba.
Sad and happy. Happy for grandbaby, sad for all those services being withdrawn from those most vulnerable in the state.
Excited about my new dog. Still missing. The dog that passed away this summer. So sad also. Hopeful for the new year.
Happy to be 88 years old in the land I live in.
Glad to be here.
Content this moment.
connected?
Nervous.
I'm a little anxious for this new beginning. This is from Indiana Dune.
Calm.
Content.
Thankful. Growing.
Happy.
Bittersweet.
At peace. Remembering.
Excited.
Calm.
Relieved.
Thank you all for being part of our emerging community. Do we have two more? Yes. Yeah, come on, come on, come on.
Joyful.
Anybody else? Okay. Will you please rise in either body or in spirit and join us for our closing hymn, Peace Like a River. We're going to sing all 6 verses, and then we're going to close with singing the first verse again. So there'll be 7 total verses, the 6 that are printed there, and the 7th will be Peace Like a River again.
Peace like a river
welcomed in this community and everywhere you go. May we all let go of the things within us that prevent us from full welcome. And then may our waters merge and roll down like justice with peace in our soul. May it be so. Though we extinguish the light of the chalice here, we carry its light and its warmth with us in our heart. Blessed be and amen.
Right when they